From Ficco's Bowladrome in Franklin, Massachusetts, it's New England Candlepins Winter Tournament 2014. In our third elimination show, Skip Easterbrooks returns to roll against Westfield's Aaron Spiller. Then in Game 2, Walpole's Dave Chestercove faces off against Framingham's Jason Doucette. Now let's roll with your hosts Ed Dunn and Jay Horrigan.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Ficco's Bowladrome. It's another round of New England Candlepins. Today we're going to have our top seed of Skip Easterbrooks take on the 16th seed of Aaron Spiller in our first match. Skip, welcome. Last time we had the pleasure standing side by side, we were opponents.
Yes, we were.
Now I'm back in my now I'm back in my regular role, and you're back in your regular role, being the top seed. Yep. How was your practice going in this time, and what differences did you make from last time to now?
Actually, nothing. Just bowling all right. We'll see what we can do, though. He's very good, so we'll see what happens.
Well, you both called each other today and said, I'll wear my black Academy, you wear your orange, so it's a bragging rights match. You guys must know each other very well.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Aaron, you excited here to be on our show? This is your first appearance on here.
Absolutely.
And how was your ride out here?
Not good.
Not good at all. Okay. Sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
We didn't plan that for you. You had a little bit of ride. We had some snow into it and everything.
Yep.
But you look very good in the orange and khaki.
Thank you.
So we appreciate that. That'll go well on camera. Have you bowled against Skip before?
We have. We bowled
Okay.
the Pro Series together. Yep.
And
He's definitely a good bowler.
Yeah. Have you beaten him?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
Everybody's beating
we
me.
do have some house bowling balls here. If you want to bounce one off his head or something when he's not looking, we won't say anything, so that will help.
Jay, I took the pin you wanted Skip to hit me with after the last show, and I threw it down already, so we don't have that here to use either.
Last shows, I wanted one of those pins. I hope those were going to us. But eventually, I will get a pin to take home. So.
Well, today it's match number 1. It's bragging rights from Academy Lanes, but it's taking place right here at Ficco's. 10 frames to the finish. Gentlemen, shake hands and let's get rolling. Welcome back, and Aaron Spiller is going to start us off on lane 15.
Okay, Aaron, go get him.
Jay, how did Aaron get to join us today?
Aaron got to join us today by bowling. Aaron qualified with a 3-game total of 341. As Ed, as you mentioned in the top of the show, he's our 16th seed going against Skip, who was our number 1 seed.
And that, Dan, if you caught it fast enough, was Reno left.
Oh, yeah. Which he
Only clipped the head.
took the head.
And again, we're fortunate enough to be joined this week by Dan, the Gothman Gothier.
Starting to accumulate nicknames now.
Just stay away from the fork.
Kids aren't going to recognize the nickname.
Dan of Candlepin Generations of Nesson, which your new season starts February 5th,
Yeah,
correct?
February 5th at 5 o'clock. A new time slot from last year. This year we're on Wednesdays, and they'll replay us once during the week. We'll have a 9-week run, 3 with the pros, and then, pros and kids, and then...
Oh, he didn't move over.
And then 6 weeks of the kids' championships. We can fix that.
We're going to call in our technical expert, Matt Grace, to solve this problem.
And that's a 10. So that's the best thing you can do if you enjoy this type of shows, is to get involved with your local cable access, and that makes these shows possible.
Thank you, Jay. We've corrected our technical errors now. We're back online, and Skip Easterbrooks has started off on lane 15, leaving the 6, 7, 9, 10 with wood on both sides. A very makeable spare with a kick off the wall, perhaps, on one of the pieces of wood. Definitely has the talent to knock this down. And almost carried it, leaving just a 7-pin.
Skip's a great guy. He's one of the friendlier bowlers I know, and what's interesting to me about Skip is he's got 2 daughters, and they've both made several appearances on our Candlepin New Generation show for kids. So it's a whole family affair.
Absolutely. We enjoy it when families bowl. In our previous series, we had our bowlers bowling 2 boxes per lane per turn, and then alternating each time up. But this series, we've decided that we want to give bowlers 5 boxes on each side. So we're doing 1 on the left and 1 on the right. And unfortunately, because on today's show there was such a snowstorm outside, Aaron came too late and didn't get the memo fast enough, so he bowled 2 on the same lane. We had to do a little technical shuffle around to get the scores right so that Skip can earn his own frame. And now he's bowling under his own name.
It does remind me of the first time I ever got on any TV show, and they went through the whole explanation. I thought I heard it all, and then the cameras rolled, and the other guy was supposed to get up, and I raced past him, got up there, and threw my box before anybody could stop me. I had the wrong graphic under my name when the show aired. It was kind of embarrassing.
Skip starts off with the 5-9, throws 2 more, leaves the 5-pin. So after 2, we are tied at 19 apiece.
It's been a popular score for the bowlers to be tied at after 2 boxes in past episodes. It's a feeling out boxes. And then they get in the groove.
Well, it is no secret that we are taping several shows at a time, and we air them at different times of the year. We're not live when we play them, and unfortunately we have one of our major things to worry about is the ability for our bowlers to be able to make it here, and sometimes the conditions aren't the best.
And this is the weather we have outside is unexpected because it was supposed to be rain. Does he pick that up? No.
3, 6, 7, 10, and the wood went right in front of the 7-pin.
It's supposed to be rain, as you were saying, and it turned into snow unexpectedly.
Yeah. Uses the wood, makes the 10.
So instead of going home, I stayed here with you guys for a few more.
And at least as of now, lucky us. But that could change in a split second, Dan.
And you asked in an earlier episode who has the farthest drive, and that is Aaron Spiller, so he had to come a long way and through the snow.
On the 1-3 pocket square and leaving, I think we're going to call that the Sean pin?
Yeah, exactly.
The Sears special? The blue light special. We'll call it that's Kmart. We'll call it the Sears special, the 4-pin. Sean, take note. Aaron can knock that down in one try. You can learn a lot from watching other people bowl.
I was just taking a look around to see if Sean was still here, but he's not. Hopefully he'll watch that on TV to figure out how to pick that up.
Right on the 1-3 pocket in full for a strike.
How many of our bowlers just start throwing marks all of a sudden in boxes 3 and 4? It takes them 2 to get warmed up, and then they're right in there.
Flush on the head pin and leaving the 2, 4, 6, 7, 10 with wood in front of the 4 and a second piece angled more towards the middle.
I think he actually can make this. And anywhere to the left of that red line in the front wood, I think it'll kick straight into the 2 on the right. I was wrong.
Skip coming in, as Ed said at the top of the show, is our number 1 seed. He had a 393 3-game total. During that top seed.
Picks up the corner, leaving 2 for an 8 box. At the end of 4, Aaron Spiller is at 39 plus a ball, and Skip is in with 44. First ball into the head pin, spinning around action, leaving the 7-10, but there is 3 pieces of legal wood in play. 2 up in front of the 10 by the pin plate, where the 1 would be, and 1 right smack in the middle. Question is, can you get enough action off of 1 to spin the other over? Only clip the 1 in the middle to get the 7-pin, but no action to the right. And no hesitation on the 10 with the wood in front, picks it right up. Jay, in our first show, we talked about how many bowlers use different styles and have different approaches and different ways of delivering the ball. And I'm going to tease it a little bit, but our next match is going to feature another unique delivery that you have not yet seen in Candlepins on Franklin.
Then I look forward to that. I like the unique deliveries. Those are fun.
2, 4, 10 with a piece of wood in back and skied them both around the 10-pin, but could not clip it.
That was a nice shot.
And leaves the 10-pin for a 9.
It's interesting how you see real nice shots like that, the challenging shots, and then not a lot, but occasionally you see these real good bowlers come back and just miss that single pin. And I would have to think at least part of that is a concentration thing.
Some of it is, absolutely. 1-3-5 with no wood for a spare. Straight on, taking out the 1-5. And picks it up for the 10. It's fun having Dan sitting in between us this time, Jay, because he is a proponent of the Candlepin Next Generation.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if the cameras are picking it up in the background, but we have the future of the future generation bowling on lanes 1 through 8 with our children's birthday parties that are here at Ficco's, and none of that is a distraction for Skip as he lays down 9 and leaves the 5-pin.
Yeah, the Ficco's is very busy today. A lot of kids here bowling today, which is great to see.
Plays the wood, catches the cap off the corner, and is able to still pick up the spare.
He said he's trying to get by the cap, but it worked anyway.
He definitely had a clear shot at it and was off on his shot, but because the wood was there, he caught the cap, which then hit the sidewall, spun around and came back and picked up the pin for the spare. Years ago, you'd hear the word superlative to describe that shot, if it was planned. You need a little luck in this game. Aaron Spiller back up now, leaving the 2-10 with a piece of wood anchored behind the 2 in a perfect position to run off the corner. Just has to hit the 2-pin on the outside. Goes right at it and goes wide. Bob Uecker would say, just a bit outside. Second attempt, same thing.
We're in a groove.
Maybe for the 4-10 he might have had that because that ball was right over the
Yeah.
4-pin spot and not catching the 2 at all. 8 in the box. Right now, Skip is working on a fill, 64 plus a ball, and Aaron was in the 6th with 66. Using the reverse spin on lane 16, leaving my friends the 4-7.
I think he's gonna hope. Yeah, good. That will get out of
2
his
pieces
way.
of wood now in the gutter, out of the way. And right down the throat of the 7-pin, leaving the 4.
In short one-string matches, the leaves always get exponentially tougher the closer you get to the end when you're a little bit behind.
Absolutely.
That's why it's important to have the lead.
Skip now up to the 7th frame on lane 15.
Aaron Spiller at 83 through 8.
Fills his mark with 6. And he's against 2 open frames, so he has plenty of room here to make a lead. Really put the pressure on Aaron for the final 2. Three, 5, 6, 10, picks it up with ease.
Yeah, he made it look easy, and it's not. Went quick.
Triangle right plus the 10-pin, no wood. Punched it right through like it was nothing to worry about. Phil on that spare, that ball got away from him. And there's a little bit shaken in the back, but takes out the 4, 5, 7 for a fill of 3. And the 4 and 5 are still on the pin plate behind the 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 9, 10. Right in the pocket, except for the head pin. Gets the wood to come back and make the pickup anyway.
He's laughing at that one.
Oh, I think
laugh all the way to the bank.
There's a lot of humor on that one. When you put up 3 spares and 2 of them you didn't earn, and he knows he didn't earn it, you got to have a little luck in this game, and you could say it's 50% luck, 50% skill. At this level, it should be 90% skill, 10% luck, but luck never hurts, no matter how much it is.
Oh,
Aaron
what a
comes back with a
Great
strike
job.
to start the ninth.
He doesn't want to.
Make the turn for home. It's 83 to 93 plus a ball for Skip, and Aaron comes back and puts a strike on it.
He doesn't want to go quietly back to Holyoke. He wants to go out with a bang here.
I think he at least wants to get the money for the gas to drive back and forth.
How about another strike? That would go a long way.
Haven't seen a double yet. Could we now? 1-2 pocket, nice and high. Straight in, but leaving the 10 pin.
Hard to throw a better ball than what he just threw.
And the wood needs to settle before he can shoot, and it comes out of the way, so he's got a clear look at the pin. Right in the corner. Foul. Was not able to pick that up. That will be a 9. If Sean were here, he'd show him what that button is because he knows what that button is. So we take a 9 for the box and a 111 for the frame. Unfortunately, that's that case, Jay. We've had that explanation from Series 1 that if the wood is sitting firmly inside the gutter, you cannot touch it first before hitting the object pin, else everything you hit does not count. In that case, he only had the 1 pin and he knocked it down, so we have to hit the foul button and take a 9. And now Skip comes back with 9 of his own, leaving the 7 pin.
And Skip needs one more pin.
And there it is.
And there it is.
That was enough.
So Skip will end up winning this match.
He's going to put up a pretty good score, too.
Yeah.
And he's going to face the winner of our 8 and 9 seeds coming up next, Jason Doucette and Dave Chestercove. And on our last show, Skip's first appearance, he threw a 121, but he came up 1 pin short. This
Who
time,
did he lose to that?
you know, I have to go back and look at the records. I know the guy hit the 410 with no wood to convert this. Oh, that was me.
Oh, that was you.
Yes, you're right.
I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Thank you for reminding me.
I had it on the top of mine.
I knew you did.
Yes. But this time he's going to throw a 126, and that will be enough to carry him into the final for this episode.
So, after our first game, advancing to the finals of this show is Skip Easterbrook, as he beats Aaron Spiller 126 to 111, and we'll be back after this.
It's time for match number 2 today, and we have the 8 versus the 9 seeds, Jason Doucette and Dave Chestercove. Dave, welcome to the show. We've had the pleasure of talking several times before, but let me ask you just off the top of your head. If you could describe the game of Candlepin bowling, how would you do that?
Well, it's a game that can only be played. It can never be perfected.
We own that now, just so you know.
It appears you do.
So, Dave, you come in as our 9 seed, and ironically, all the scores between seeds 7 and 10 were within 2 pins of each other, so the competition is good. How do you feel getting ready for today's match?
Well, I feel good today, and like I said, it's only me and the ball. It's nothing I can do to compare to what Jason does. It's up to him to bowl his game. It's up to me to bowl mine. Hopefully mine's better than his today. See what happens.
And Jason, this is your first time on our show, so we're happy to have you. How are you feeling today, getting ready for the show?
Feeling great.
And how'd you feel in warm-ups, the lanes?
Feeling loose. Lanes are falling pretty good. Should have bowled my game and see what happens.
That's great. We look forward to it.
It's 10 frames of the finish. Gentlemen, shake hands and let's get rolling. It's match number 2. Dave Chestercove is going to start us off on lane 16.
We call Dave Chestercove DC on our team.
Okay.
DC.
Does that
DC.
stand for his initials, or is there
Yeah.
some other
I like to call him
insignia
DC
behind
Comics, but he's
that? Okay. Dave starts off with the triangle right. 3, 5, 6 with some wood nestled right behind the 5. How did Dave join us, Jay?
He is our number 9 seed, Ed, coming in with the 3-game total of 358.
And punches out the 5 and 6 to start off with a 9.
He keeps true to what we've been seeing in virtually every match, where the first box is a feeling out box for everybody. Get warmed up and loose. They start really taking off, especially in boxes 3 and 4.
And so
Or
much
two.
for that idea, Dan,
Or
because
two.
there is a strike for Dave Chestercove.
You gotta get past the first box, that's the key. Be happy with that. 1 out of 2.
Right in the 1-3 pocket, takes everything out around us. And up now steps Jason Doucette on lane 16.
And I believe he's the bowler that you were previewing with the unusual approach.
I call it unique delivery.
Jason started his approach back in the room where the pizza was. So he takes quite a few steps.
Did he get pizza before he threw the ball, or just smelled it?
He may have smelt it. I hope he left some pizza for me.
He slides off of his right foot. And in basketball, it's similar to a right-handed basketball player, making his layup jump off of his right foot. It's completely not conventional, but he's so used to it, and he's usually very good at it, and that's not a good example of a box from him. He's actually an extremely good bowler. And when you get to the age we are now, it's hard to change something that you...
Well, he starts off with a 6 box, not hitting the head pin on any of the 3 shots. But what he does do differently is, yes, he does end on the right foot. Being a right-handed bowler, you're running the risk of hitting yourself in the knee with the ball. But he's also releasing it with left-handed spin underneath it. So it's kind of like the lefty correctly, just the wrong hand, or the righty wrong with the wrong foot. But either way, it is his delivery, it is his technique, and again is a unique delivery. Dropped 9 on the first ball, leaving the 7 pin, and missed it for spare. Coming back now to try for the 10, and picks it up. After
I
2,
would hit my knee. I can guarantee you that.
Break an ankle. He's gotten past his first 2 boxes, though.
Yep.
He'll be on fire the next
After 2 frames, it is 16 for Jason Doucette. Dave Chestercove up now with 19, plus 2 balls to fill his strike. Into the 1-2 pocket, some action around, leaving the 5-6-10 with a piece of wood just to the left of the 5 pin with enough space that he might be able to catch the wood and the pin and slide it straight over.
Since he's on a strike, I expect he'll probably play the 2 pins on the right, try to get the count.
I think he played 2 pins to the right and tried to get the spare.
I still almost made the spare. That's right. You have probably just as good a chance over there.
9 on the fill.
I always look at that leave and I just say 1 out of 50 that it goes that leave. When you don't have favorable wood, it's a very difficult leave.
And makes a single for the 10.
Dave is from Walpole, Mass, and bowls out of the Norwood Sports Center.
He's also captain of our Friday Pro League, where home house is Riverwalk, but they travel all around.
Dave now steps up to lane 15 and very high on the head pin in the 1-3 pocket, leaving the 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 with no wood.
As I like to call it, a mess.
And taking out the 8 pin. I would have nominated that for shot of the series if he converted that for a spare. I think that would have beaten Lou Alberghini's 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10 with wood. But that was still a very impressive shot.
That's disheartening, because you went up there and threw 2 hammer first balls and was left with garbage leaves and a 7 box where he really wasn't that bad.
It's a game of inches. You just never know. As he said in the open, it's him and the ball, and that's it. Jason comes into the 1-2 pocket, leaving the 7-10 with 2 pieces of wood, 1 favorable and 1 resting right up against the 7 pin. Now, the way he has that left-handed spin, if he comes across and catches that red line, that ball should scooch right across and grab that 10 pin.
Yeah, maybe try to go above the red line, hope the ball lands in the 10, maybe.
Bingo! Where's my telestrator? Let me go back and say that again. Ball comes down and hits the red line of the piece of wood, scooches right over and grabs the 10
It's
pin.
the benefit of the same type of break a lefty would have.
Exactly,
Angling to the right.
because he's got that in reverse spin on his delivery. Great spare. And a fill with a little bit of help from the back.
There's your 50% luck comment that you comment. You can be as good as you want, but you need that break, and you gotta. It looks like a favorable break, except that the wood in front of the 3-pin is crooked, and it's going to make it difficult to carry both the back
3-9,
pins.
10 with wood in front. Carry the 3-9, but nothing went around to get the 10. Ball went around the 10 pin in the air. And that time he drove it right through. So after 4, it's 45-43 for Dave Chestercove, who now gets up on lane 16 for frame number 5. Our gallery consists of 2 bowlers from Academy Lanes that are kind of giving Jason a little bit of ribbing over there because they all bowl together, so they know each other very well.
And an 8 for Dave.
4-8 with a piece of wood that's going to get out of his way. The 8-pin has been moved slightly, so it's not in its normal spot, but still close enough to be able to catch them both. And Dave carries it across.
Say at this point, I think he's bowling better than his score shows. He's had almost every ball right where he wants it.
I'd have to agree with you 100% on that one, Dan. I think we had that same issue our first show.
I wish I could say
The ball just wasn't doing what we wanted it to.
I mean, there's an example right there.
Okay.
That looked like a great
we
first
call that
ball.
welcome to Ficco's.
I know.
The 5, 6, 7, 10 with a piece of wood way off on the right side by the edge of the pin plate, angled enough that the red line is still on the legal portion of the playing field.
And he's pretty much obliged to try it, although it doesn't look particularly
Give it a
helpful.
whack, and he makes it!
Wow.
Superlative shot for Dave Chestercove.
There's your shot of the day. I'm going to nominate it.
It is definitely a series shot of the series nominee when you have the 4, 5. I forgot what the pins were now. That was such a great shot. And Jason comes back with a strike. And says, I see your superlative shot, and here's a strike for you.
The guns came halfway out of the holster after that.
That was a great shot by Jason Two Guns Doucette.
Six fill, leaving the 4, 6, 7, 9. Underneath grabs just a 7. I think that was the 5, 6, 7, 10 on that spare that they had left. I think it was the 5, 6, 7, 10. Impressive shot with that piece of wood way off in the corner. He just kicked it in the right spot, spun everything across, and the wood did half the work, the ball did the rest. Pins fell down.
It'll be a fun one to see on instant replay in slow motion to see what takes each of the pins.
That might be on our high def open for one of our great shots that we set up in our package. The end of 6, Jason has 68. Dave is 71 plus a ball. That ball gets him 6, so he's got a lead of 9 after 6 frames.
May have been the first time that he missed the head pin on the first ball, but I don't think he'll complain because I think it's better than most of the leads he's seen so far.
4 horseman right with a piece of wood dead against the 3, angled perfectly to the corner, but didn't hit the head pin and left the 110.
It's probably the only one today he wants back. It looked pretty favorable if he could have hit the head pin. A nice plow.
Grabs the head pin for a 9. Straight into the head pin, but the action leaves him to 3, 6, 7. Wood favorably angled in front of the 3 pin where the head pin would be. There's enough there that he could probably catch the side of 1 and push it across to get the 7. There he goes. Played the cap straight on, unfortunately, and did not carry anything. And picks up 1, 4, and 8. So Jason has a couple of opens in front of him that he does have some room to move, but he's going to have to do something to put some gap into this real estate that he's got.
Well, luckily for Jason, he is only 1 mark behind, and with the 8 box Dave just threw, now it's just a reasonable fill, and you're caught right up.
And that reverse spin gives him some extra action on the left side, missing the pocket, but still is able to leave only the 10. And he's all over it.
Interesting, too, how he released that, because he hugged the edge of the lane all the way down the lane. A lot of times you'll see a righty take more of an angle to try to come at the 10 pin.
Except he's throwing it like a lefty.
Right, just got the backspin to keep it straight.
And the fill into the 1-2 pocket.
Ooh.
A great shot. First ball leaves him the 5-9 for an 8.
Temporarily
And
tying
they
up the
are
match.
Right.
Temporarily
right.
tying up the match. That is correct. From where I'm sitting, I can't tell if he can get the 5-9
think he
without the
can,
wood.
yeah.
I think he can as well, but he only got the 9.
Tricky shot. I mean, you have to commit to going by the wood, or just give into the wood
Right.
and just say you're going to hit it and hit it hard.
Which in that case he did.
And it looks like it may have gone, but
May have
it's
gone
a
with
thing
it.
you never know. I mean,
As we make the turn for home, Jason Doucette has a 2-pin lead, 96-94. Dave Chestercove now steps up on lane 16 for his final 2. Into the 3-6 pocket, leaving the 4 horseman left plus the 9-pin.
Another good match we've seen here on New England Candlepins.
And punches out just the 2-pin.
and one of the last things you probably wanted to do in that box is now it becomes a difficult 9 or 10 box.
And punches out the 1-9, leaving a box of 8. Notice a lot of the bowlers have their name somewhere on the front or back of their shirts, and that's a symbol of showing that they are of a professional level because they're representing some type of other professional organization when they're playing here. In Dave's case, he's representing his USA versus Canada Worlds jersey that he would wear, competing for that competitive professional championship. So it gives you some notoriety to say where you're from, what kind of things you've done, kind of like your resume is on your back, so to speak.
Well, he's gonna have to make a new shot of the day if he is to.
3, 5, 7,
mark
8,
here.
10 with a piece of wood behind the 10 and in front. Going for the corner. Could not reach the 3-pin.
Very close.
And a 9 for a finish of 111. So Jason does not need a mark to win this match. He does need 2 good frames. You punch the half Worcester not needing a mark, you're setting yourself up for making it harder for yourself.
I think it's human nature, though, isn't it? Sometimes, you know, if you needed 2 marks, you probably drop 9 there. If you don't, you can make it hard on yourself.
And that makes it even harder. He's going to have to get at least 4 of these to not have to get a mark.
Exactly. Giving DC some late hope on the bench.
How often do we see this, though?
Uh-oh. Right on the spot.
High risk, high reward ball.
Thought they were all going to go on that one. That looked like a perfectly placed ball, and it was. He grabbed the 9 for a safe out. Now it's only a matter of needing 7 for the match. And of
That's
course,
5.
he's going to set himself up with
Another awful leave, but
another awful leave.
it makes that last out that much more impressive, though. If he only gets 7 there, then he's really in trouble
Yep.
here.
And now the wood's out of the way, so it comes down to this last ball. He needs to get 1 pin to tie, 2 or more to win the match. Do you go left or right, Dan?
Left.
Because you got 3 over there?
Yeah, I mean, you get 1 target to aim for, and if you're off by a pin, at least you tie. Which he did.
Which
And
he
you
did.
tie.
And for the second
Second
time in this
time.
series, we are going to overtime.
So
We're gonna
again,
have a-
again, since it is overtime, What we're going to do is we're going to have rock, paper, scissors, followed by a sword fight, followed by a 2-frame roll-off.
I've always been fascinated with the mental aspect of bowling, and in my mind, I always say, who does the 2-box roll-off favor? And does it favor the guy who thought he was completely out of it and now has new life? I tend to think it does. Or does it favor the one who's probably been getting maybe slightly better action the whole time and just had a rough box? Let's see if the guy who just got some new life can take advantage.
Day 15.
So
Dave Chestercove is going to start our 2-box roll-off. They'll bowl 1 frame each on lanes 15 and 16. If we are still tied, they'll bowl 2 more. First ball straight in, and it is the 5 with the 3-pin in front with wood sandwiched in between them. Dave, to answer your question, I think, Dan, my answer would be the person who tied the game is at a disadvantage because he could have won it.
Right.
So now you're opening the door for the person who was sitting there to come in and basically wipe the floor clean with you. And a spare in the first box for Dave.
And it's a good feeling if you thought you were mentally out of the game and now you've got new life, especially if you do what Dave just did and you start off with a good first ball and you take advantage.
Now you take the wind right out of their sails.
Especially when you, I would think, you know, for bowlers like you guys to have to pick up 7 pins, you would think that's
Relatively
fairly easy.
And that's
when
when
you're
you get in
averaging
trouble.
10 or 11 a
Yeah.
frame and you only get
Yeah.
6. But it happens.
Yeah.
Triangle left. 2, 4, 5 with wood resting against the 4. Fill of 7. And another spare for Dave. He'll throw 1 more ball on that same lane to finish the frame.
Go with
He
the
should
flow.
just halt it and bowl the frame, but drop 9 more, so we're at 36.
That is going to be a challenge to beat.
Yeah.
We hit the skip one more
Yep.
time. Okay, we should be good now.
Should be.
Yep.
We'll see.
Maybe.
We're playing with the technology of the establishment, but ethically he should have finished that frame on the same lane, but
Next box would be a challenge.
we'll have to decipher that for the next time there's overtime. Either way, Jason's going to need 37 to win this, or 36 to force 2 more. Right on there
Wow.
for a spare.
Staying alive.
Fantastic shot.
It's his new favorite song, Staying Alive.
It's technology, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not really
Paper
used to
pencil
a
days, we can
2-box
just roll
roll-off.
over we wanted to.
Exactly.
To fill the spare, comes back with 3. Well, that will mathematically eliminate him
Exactly.
from this match. He needed more.
At least that's the ball he wanted.
So Dave Chestercove will come back after winning in overtime and take on our 1 seed, Skip Easterbrooks, in the championship of this round to see who advances to our final.
Yeah, we're starting to shape up for some close matches here.
That's
now.
right. That's right. So congratulations to Dave Chestercove with his win over Jason Doucette.
We'll come back for our final match right after this. Welcome back to New England Candlepins. We're here for our final match of this round. Skip, our number 1 seed, is coming back to take the challenge of Dave Chestercove. Dave, you had to go to overtime to win that last match, and you had some great leaves and shots in that overtime to get you to advance. How do you feel coming in now?
Well, I mean, I was rolling a pretty good ball during that match. Lane 15 was giving me a little bit of problems. I was hitting a little heavy, getting a lot of nasty splits. I decided to try to hit a little lighter on the overtime because since surprisingly he left the door open for me, not expected. Thankfully, I got two good leaves on that lane, especially 1 big 9 fill there. I was able to capitalize, and here we are.
So now you take on a relatively clear-cut foe in Skip, and one that you're not unfamiliar with bowling in and around Ficco's.
That's correct.
You did say in the last match it's you and the ball,
That's right. Stole me the
and
ball.
what he can do.
Oh,
But
yeah.
do you feel that you might have that same overtime at the end, or do you think you're going to have to really push forward now?
No, I think I still have the same ball. I'm sure Skippy feels the same way. So, we'll just see what happens.
And Skip, you're our number 1 seed. Let me ask you, do you have anything to say?
No, nothing to say.
And that's what I thought. That's what we had discussed before we came on
Good
air.
luck. Good luck.
10 frames to a championship. We'll be right back and see how they do right after this. Time to determine who our winner is. Dave Chestercove is now going to start us off on lane 15. Good luck to both of you.
Again, Dave coming in as our number 9 seed against Skip, who is our number 1 seed.
He just says, yeah.
That's good to see Dave having the enthusiasm for not his best shot of the day, but he's still very excited to have a shot.
Well, sometimes you can tell what kind of ball a bowler threw just by what he yells after he lets it go. Luckily for us, none of the bowlers are making us regret that it's mic'd up out there.
That's the kiss of death, Dan. Now we know something's going to happen.
Started with 3, left 3, and now finished with 9 at the frame number 1. Skip and Dave come into this match, Jay, with the identical average. So this should be a very competitive match. Action off the left side, leaving the 6-10 and a piece of wood that could have rolled back, but decided to fall off into the channel.
Dave will be just as happy either way. He can see it. Make it. Maybe a little trickier for him, even though he's a righty, because he throws a left to right ball, and that would a little bit of a roadblock on him.
And he played the capper nicely and took out the spare.
I think that's actually what he was worried about doing, was hitting it where he did, but it went anyway. He was probably trying to get by it. He's laughing about it now. It went.
Skip straight into the head pin flush, leaving the 4, 6, 7, 10. Corner bookends. Punches out just the 4. Jay, having made the 4-10 with no wood, I would have nominated that for shot of the series if he would have converted that for a spare.
I agree. I agree with you on that, Ed.
Because he just made the 6, 7, 10 for a 10 in the same breath. A great shot by Skip.
And I'm going to say that's why Skip had nothing at all to say beforehand. That's why he wanted to get right to it.
Right to it.
Sometimes just making a 10 like that can psych you up. And
Absolutely.
Skip clapped for himself. We're probably going to come right back with a beautiful ball here.
First ball of 8, 2 pieces of wood in front.
That would look scary.
Second piece is definitely angled away. The front piece, if he caps the right side of it, he might go around it. He may have to go left. Oh, drove it right on the red line. Nicely done.
There's a lot of danger in that wood, but he overcame it.
Both with marks after 2 boxes. It's a 1-pin lead for Skip, 20-19, each with a bonus ball to throw. Dave Chestercove now up again on lane 15. And a strike for Dave.
Tremendous.
No doubt about that shot at all.
Tremendous ball.
Really pretty when it finds the 1-2 pocket. Coming a little left to right.
Something about talking another person bowling and using the word pretty and ball in the same sentence. I just can't do it. I would say a superlative shot, if anything at best.
Ed, I want to thank you for bringing that up because, frankly, when Dan brought up the word pretty, it concerned me. And I did move a little bit away from Dan.
You're pretty too.
Well, thank you. It's a new rouge I'm using.
And another spare for Dave. 3 marks in a row for Dave.
Dave's seeing more favorable leaves in this match than he did in our previous match.
Yes.
And Dan, I did put some lip balm on prior to this telecast.
Yes, and you, Jay, not wearing bowling shoes, if he did put pretty and ball in the same sentence with you, we would have to probably find a new third person to co-host the rest of the show. Skip steps up with a fill of 7, leaving the 1-2-10. So after 2 boxes of pins down, it's 29-27 in the lead for Dave Chestercove. Catches the head pin, but actually goes right around the 10.
You could tell the crowd thought he was going to make that. A lot of shock and awe back there.
And picks up the pin for a 10. Well, it has not been often for Skip to get up, being up against 3 marks in a row. This is new territory for him. Being the 1 seed, he's having to dig himself out of this hole now.
There's a reason he's the 1 seed, though. I don't think he's phased yet. Dave can put a couple more on him, get a 3-4 mark lead, he'll start to get phased. 1 string game.
Four horsemen left plus the 10 with favorable wood against the head pin, but he pushed it straight through.
It's interesting, Dave. Every opponent's different, but Dave, DC as an opponent, just keeps his head down. Doesn't like to watch what Skip is doing.
I think it's irrelevant what Skip does because, as Dave said, it's him and the ball. So if you watch the person throw a double strike and you think, oh, and you get yourself psyched away, obviously if you hear the crowd cheer twice and your head's down, something good just happened, but I guess out of sight, out of mind. So far it's working. He's up 15 plus a ball.
Then you don't have to be disheartened if you see a lucky shot go.
That type of professional tactic he has might be why he's on the world team and how he can get up after somebody puts up a couple of marks and put up a couple of his own without hesitation. 4 horsemen left, no wood for spare. Fill of 6. After 4 boxes, it's now 65-44 for Dave Chestercove. Plays the 1-2 high, but cannot come back and carry the 4-7. Set up nicely with a piece of wood against it. Should be an easy make. And picks up the 10. Jay, I'm doing a lot of discussion during each match about what's coming up next, but off in the distance, do you see who's warming up for his chance to bowl next week?
Wow. Let me take a look.
See Mike Legender here.
Dan pulled out the dictionary and the thesaurus.
I believe we have a legender in the building.
We do. 4 horsemen right plus the 4-7 for Dave. And on the head pin, but it went high around the 4-7. But took out everything on the right. Carries it across for the 10.
And coming up against Mike Legendra, we do have...
Against who?
Mike, we have our defending series champion. What's his first name? Jonathan Boudreau.
One of my favorite bowlers.
You know, in a few months, Jay, you will be able to say things like, Mike and Jonathan are coming up next, and the fans will know exactly who you're talking about.
You're right.
That's those 2 guys he can't pronounce.
During the 5 or 6 or 7 year run that he had on our show, we called him J-Bomb. Skippy will try to pick up a 10 and then come back with a spare and chop into the lead if he can in the next box. Since Dave had an uncharacteristic 2
Off
open.
in the corner for a 9. Skip is currently down 32 pins.
22.
Oh, nice shot.
Into the head pin, solid, leaving just a 5 pin.
Yuck.
He's down 22 after 5, 32 and pins down, so a mark is necessary here to stay within the striking distance. Plays the cap of the
nice
wood,
play.
takes down the 5-pin for a spare.
That was a great play. He had to
Great
be
play
on
of the
cap.
wood.
Yeah.
Had to have that wood in the right spot. So after 6 boxes now, it's Dave Chestercove leading 85 to 73. Sorry, 63, plus 1 ball to throw for Skip Easterbrooks.
You're just imagining the strike that he's going to throw to fill it later.
Could be. Dave heavy on the head pin, but still enough action to leave the 3, 4, 6, but no wood. Hit the 3, 6 in the
Nice
pocket,
effort by
but couldn't
Dave.
cut it light enough to get the 4 pin. And picks it straight up for the 10. 3 10s in a row. Question is, will 3 10s in a row be enough to hold off Skip as he's coming up for his final 4? Two 4 pocket and is able to spin enough action back to grab the head pin and knock that down last, leaving the baby split the 3-10 with 3 pieces of wood up front, 1 adjacent to the 10, 1 angled against the 3, and 1 rolling back to the pin plate. I'm gonna say red line on the right should carry this through, and it does.
Nice shot.
Makes the spare. Dave is keeping the pressure on Skip by getting 10s or spares. Last 4 boxes, no opens. Pins left up, so Skip on a big fill.
Yeah, Dave Chestercove is usually very good at that. All 10 boxes when he's not marking.
Into the head pin, 1 3 pocket, but light on the action. 5, 8, 9, 10.
Skip looked like he thought he had that.
Oh yeah, it looked great going down, but unfortunately when it hit the pocket, it just ricocheted instead of powered through. And unfortunately that ball threw him right off. He knows how far down he is. I don't think he's milled it in yet, but the frustration's definitely there. And picks up 1 4 7. He's opposite a mark. He's going to need a mark here to give himself a fighting chance. Bounced it, but still able to carry the 6 pin. 7 pin remains for a spare. Wide open shot. And catches the side of the pin for the spare. As we make the turn for home, Dave Chestercove leaves 105 to 86, each with a bonus ball to throw. Dave Chestercove high on the 1-3 pocket, but a lot of action off the wall from the head pin. Carries them around and leaves the 5 pin with a piece of wood that's rolling, and it looks like it's going to stay out of his way as it rolls off into the channel. And Dave left a nail in the coffin unhammered.
Twice. I was going to throw that twice out, but I knew you had it, Ed.
Dave coming in now, leaving the 4, 6, 7. Piece of wood on the pin plate. At the edge, half on, half off, in front of the 4-7. Clipped it across and almost carried the 6 pin. Fantastic try.
we'll have our first score in the 130s. Then we keep getting closer to that 142
Yeah,
you predicted.
he had a chance.
Yeah.
Could have marked in the 9th.
Yeah.
And the 10. 133 to finish. But he did leave the door open. Skip needs to get 2 marks. Well, it's more than a crack.
Yeah.
More than a crack. He's at 86. A solid fill here is what he needs to start. He needs to get 2 marks no matter how you look at it. Into the 2-4 pocket. Leaves the 1-3-5-8-9. He needed a higher fill to not have to get a double strike. Played the head pin high. And that, unfortunately, is not going to be enough.
Ooh.
Beautiful 10 for Skip Easterbrooks. A great shot to finish that one up.
Even if he strikes out, he's going to come up 3 pins short. We could have 2 scores, 130, 133.
And an Uxbridge to finish out the match.
And we won't have 130, 133.
Halfway to Worcester.
Which is Uxbridge.
Which is Uxbridge from Providence. On the head pin heavy. One more ball for Skip to throw. So right now, Jay, we have an 11 seed, a 15 seed, and a 9 seed coming back for our championship show. There is a 25% chance that Dave Chestercove could be our top seed for the championship at number 9.
As a 9
we have to wait one more week to find out. 133 for Dave Chestercove, 110 for Skip Easterbrooks. We're going to come back and talk to our bowlers and award our prizes and wrap this up right after this. And we're back after another championship match, a fantastic round. Dave Chestercove comes up big and wins over Skip Easterbrooks. Dave, congratulations. You qualify for our final show, where you have a chance to compete with the other winners for our grand prize. How did you feel with that match now that you've had the chance between you and the ball? I've noticed that when you sit, you're not looking at your opponent. Is that part of your personal preparation, or is that just, oh boy, I hope he doesn't throw a strike?
Most of the time, that's part of my personal preparation. I learned that from Mike Morgan. The great Hall of Famer. He goes, and he told me it's just you and the ball. It doesn't matter what the other guy's doing. So why bother looking? You know, if it's a real big friendly match, yeah, I'll cheer on the guy, sure. But when it's Skippy,
you're not going to do that.
He's a pro's pro here, so I can't give him the love all the time. So.
Thank you.
Wow.
Well, Mr. Pro's pro.
Yeah. He bowled well today. He bowled well.
He did. Dave bowled very, very well.
Yes, he did.
And you just had a couple of shots that just kind of seemed to slip either side of the head pin, just didn't catch the head pin there.
Yeah, that's true. I fell off the head pin, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, but you bowled well yourself. You did.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Very
Great
well.
time.
Very well. Well, I'd just like to remind our viewers out there that if you enjoyed the show you saw today or any of our other shows on our cable access, the best way to show your appreciation for it and your support for our shows is to contact your local cable access channel and volunteer, whether you want to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, any other kind of volunteering you could do. Every cable access channel could always use the help. So again, to show your support for today's show or any other shows you've seen is to give your cable access channel a call and volunteer. We can always use the help. So Skip, as the runner-up in today's show, we have here for you an envelope. There's $25 for coming in second place, and Ed, you have something for our champion.
I do. Dave, our champion, gets a $75 winnings for today.
Thank you.
You'll have a chance to come back on our final show for another $325 to maybe make it a $400 payday.
That's great.
Congratulations. Thank you both for being here. On behalf of Jay Horrigan and all of us at Franklin TV, I'm Ed Dunn from New England Candlepins from Ficco's Bowladrome. We'll see you back here next time. So long, everybody.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.